What's up, guys? I'm back with another video, and today we're doing a Q&A on all things motherhood. I asked you guys in my last video what's some stuff that you guys want me to talk about when I'm here by myself, and the most common thing was just things about being a mom, raising kids. We have 3 boys, 4, 2, and 8 months. So that was the most common thing, is like, tell us about motherhood. And I was thinking, like, how am I gonna make a video about motherhood? But I'm like, let's just ask questions and I can try to answer them. So I got some of them. You guys asked a lot of great questions. There's some actually that I'm just gonna have to probably do a whole video about because it's just too much to answer in a little blip of time. But that's good. It gave me some more ideas for videos. So I don't like long intros. Let's get into it. All right, one of them says, going from just you and Nate to your first baby, what was the biggest change? And I tell everyone that the hardest transition for me was none to one. That was the hardest one because your whole life changes. And I would say the hardest thing is just, it's not about you anymore. It's not about you and your husband anymore doing things for yourself, going where you want to go, when you want to go there, and all this stuff. It is about the baby. And that was probably the hardest change for me. Not that I have a hard time being about someone else. It's just like the biggest shift, I guess. And so all of a sudden, you're consumed with this baby. And your first one, I feel like, is the most consuming because I felt like, I don't know what I'm doing. I had so many questions. I just felt unprepared. But then with Halston, it literally felt like a breeze. 1 to 2 to me was so easy. It's almost like nothing changed. Because you're already on that schedule, you know what to do, you've already done it, you already have a baby. So 1 to 2, a breeze. At what age did you start with the bedtime routine you made a video about with a newborn? And we started that at about 2 weeks old. So if you guys have been following us, you know that we do Moms on Call to get our kids to sleep. We're 3 for 3, getting our kids to sleep through the night by 8 weeks old. So the short answer, there was so many questions about how do I get my baby to sleep, and I feel for you moms and dads out there that are not getting your sleep because, gosh, it is so important. And I feel like to be a good parent, you need sleep. So when people tell you, oh, sleep when the baby sleeps, if this is your second kid, you can't do that. You can't just take a nap in the middle of the day when you have another kid to take care of. So getting them to sleep through the night is so essential to me, and we were just on it as soon as we could be because we're we got to make this happen. So about 2 weeks in, we started trying to get in a routine, get in the schedule, and it worked for all of our kids. So if you haven't checked out Moms on Call, highly recommend. Another very commonly asked question, how do you get God time with little kids? And I am going to do a video about just a day in the life because that was also something that people really wanted to see, is just our routine and how we go about our day. So I will show the answer to this in there, but the honest thing is just your husband. Y'all are a team effort. At nighttime, I feed them dinner, and at 5:30 Nathaniel comes out of his office and he's with them for an hour by himself, where I go and I take a shower and I put the laundry away or whatever, and then I read my Bible and spend my time with God. And that time is very important to me. And whether you do it at night or in the morning or whatever, it's just important to make it happen. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even if your husband's not home or your wife's not home and you have to do it with your kids. I know people that do that. My best friend does that. She just reads her Bible and her kids are just running around. And that's okay. God sees you in the season of life that you're in. He knows you have kids. He knows they keep you busy. They're distracting. He knows. And so I just think as long as you're trying and you're putting in that effort and you're seeking to have that time with God, you're doing what you can do, and God is going to meet you in the season of life that you're in. And for me right now, that's our routine. At nighttime, I get an hour and I spend a lot of that time reading my Bible. Okay, one of these says, what are some fun activities to do that aren't screen time? And I like this question because I'm so anti-screen time. And let me just preface that if anyone does that, everyone parents differently, everyone has their different things. That's my thing and Nathaniel's thing, is we don't like screen time. I don't want my kids to know what an iPad is. I don't want them holding our phones. I don't really want them watching TV. That's just us. They have 20 minutes of the night where they watch a show and they love it. And that's kind of their screen time of the day, their time to relax. And other than that, we really try to not be looking at screens during our days. And so what we do instead is, what's funny is I feel like our kids don't really have that many toys. They have toys, but compared to, I would say, the average American kid, it's pretty minimal. Which I love that because I don't like a lot of clutter. And I love watching them have an imagination. They have so much fun. Like, we have these nugget couches, and those are expensive, but it was probably our best investment with having little kids is buying a nugget couch, because you can build it into endless things and slides and forts and all these things, and they just love climbing on them. So that's one of the things we do. They love to paint, they love to color, they love stickers. Let's see, they love to ride their bikes outside. We have a trampoline, they love to jump on the trampoline. They have flashlights, and we'll like hide dinosaurs around the house, and they go on a dinosaur hunt. That's kind of an easy, fun game that they think is like so thrilling. They love to read books. It's funny that I feel like the most entertainment they get is just with each other or doing things with me, helping me. They love to help me in the kitchen. Like, if I'm making something to eat, they want to be helping. They want to stand on the stool, and they want to use their little knives that I got Oakland for his birthday, and they want to cut things up. And I think that, to me, is like the best form of play, because for them, even though I view that as a chore, it's fun for them. Doing the laundry, that's fun for them. Like, helping me pull the clothes out of the dryer. And it's funny, I was doing that with Oakland a couple weeks ago. He's pulling them out of the dryer, and he's like looking at me, and I'm shaking, you like shake the clothes out of the dryer, and he's doing that too. He's like shaking the stuff, and he's actually really helpful. Like, they can help you get the things done faster, and that's what they want to be doing. Because I'll tell them, y'all can go play, you don't have to help me. But they're like, no, I want to. So that's a great activity. That way you're getting things done, and they're having fun, and you're spending time together. So it's like a win all around. All right, things you do for yourself to help you have energy to get through the day with your kids. Something interesting about me that you guys may already know is that I have never had coffee before. Not only have I never had coffee, I don't even know how to work a coffee machine. So I feel like that's kind of funny. I don't like rely on caffeine to keep me going through the day, but what I do rely on is a nap. I'm a big nap taker, and there is a time of our day, you'll see it when I do the day in the life or whatever, where all of our kids are down for a nap. Oakland's is more of like quiet time. He's not, sometimes he'll sleep, sometimes he just plays. But during that time, I'll take a nap, and I feel like that just energizes me for the second half of the day, because that time kind of falls in the middle. So that gives me energy for the rest of the day, and I feel very refreshed. Also, I feel like going to the gym, it's a funny thing, because going to the gym is such an exertion of energy, but I feel like going to the gym gives you energy. So that's another thing, is like the days I go to the gym, I come home and I feel like ready to take on the day, So those are two things I feel like help me with my energy. How do you introduce your kids to God and Jesus during the day? I really like this one, because this is a constant effort in the day, is how can I bring God into the day and into little moments? And so on the way to school with them, I will say a prayer with them for their day. And then, if they ever get hurt or something, we'll like pray over the boo-boo, for God to make it better. We have Christian books that we read to them. Their favorite one is actually the Jesus Storybook Bible. If you guys have ever heard of that, it's like the Bible, but it's for kids. It's got cute pictures. It makes it really easy to understand. They love that book. So I feel like reading that to them really opens up the doors for conversations about things about God. We'll listen to worship music in the car. Just little things like that. I just feel like it doesn't have to be one big sit down, like small group kind of thing. It's just in the little moments of your day, how do you bring God into it? Be conscious about praying out loud with them, talking about God with them, bringing him into little things, just like getting hurt. If they get hurt, pray for God to make them feel better. If they're sick, pray for God to make them feel better. Things like that. I feel like by doing that at such a young age, they're going to grow up and it's going to be familiar to them. And they won't think that praying out loud is like, oh, that's weird, because we do it all the time. So, and it's also never too late to start. Like, if your kids aren't little, I had someone messaging us the other day asking, how do I start praying with my family? Because we've never done it and it's just kind of awkward. And I was telling her, she's never prayed with her husband, but I was telling her to start with her kids, because I feel like they're little and it's comfortable, and you can be maybe more free in front of them. And with your husband, you may feel a little more conservative, because her husband specifically was a pastor. So I feel like maybe she felt scared to pray in front of him. which is funny because I guarantee you if she did, he would be like, wow, that's amazing. I love that, So, yeah, just give the courage, and you got to start somewhere. And it may be uncomfortable at first, but the more that you do it and the more that you stick to it, the more natural it will become. And so I encourage you guys to do that. Step out of your comfort zone and start praying out loud. And God tells us that where two or more are gathered in his name, he's there with them. So I definitely think there is power in praying with other people as opposed to praying by yourself. By yourself is still great, and it's great for your relationship with God, but he specifically says, where two or more are gathered in my name, I am with them. So something to remember. Okay, what is your biggest struggle or something you didn't think would be as hard as it is? This is a good one. And it's also a hard one to answer, but I would say that the thing I was probably most unprepared for is the patience that it takes to raise kids. It takes so much, and I literally pray for God most days that I remember to give me patience for my kids because it is so necessary, especially when you have three. Toddlers are very emotional. So when you have like three very emotional humans that you're caring for, it can be so overwhelming sometimes, especially if they're all having a meltdown at the same time. But, I just pray for patience. And so I try to be really conscious of the fact that when little kids come into the world, everything's new to them. Where we've been around this stuff our whole lives, it's new for them. And things can overwhelm them. What's funny is, so our video that we probably got the most hate on is a video about discipline. And it was so overwhelming that actually today I just took it down. I just set it as private so that only we can see it, because it's just really aggravating me how there were so many people out there that keep splicing it up and taking these little things that we said, and then they would speak on it, and it just makes us sound really bad and look really bad, and they're taking it out of context what we were saying. And anyways, it's funny that on the questions, the majority of the questions were, how do I discipline my kid? All around discipline. And I actually feel like I could be really helpful on that. I feel like our kids are overall pretty well behaved. I feel like we've done a good job for being young of how to discipline our kids and do it in a godly and loving way. And I want to talk about that, and I will let you guys know. I mean, we'll see if I get up the nerve, but I just feel like I have to psych myself up to do something like that, because that's what people just love to come after us about, is the way that we discipline our kids. And like I said at the beginning, everyone's different. Everyone's different. Everyone's family functions differently. What works for me won't work for you necessarily, and vice versa. I'm just sharing. I would just like to share what we do in hopes that it could help somebody. So maybe in the future I'll make that video, because so many people asked about that. But it's funny that I'm scared to do it because of how many people just came after us. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get up the courage. What is your biggest joy and your biggest worry as a mom? Okay, I'll start with the worry since that's the negative. My biggest worry is probably for their safety. I feel like I think a lot about that, and their health. I try not to, because I don't think God wants me to worry. I think he wants me to trust him and, trust that they are his before they're mine. So I try to let go of that, but if I'm going to pick of my worry, that's what it is, their safety and their health. And then my biggest joy, I think I just really like to watch them do something that they really love. For instance, they are obsessed with the beach, which is so exciting for me and Nathaniel because we love the beach. But watching them play in the sand and play in the water and do it for hours and just be so happy and so entertained, I love that. Or when they're eating ice cream and it's their favorite thing and they're so happy about eating ice cream. Just these little moments that they get so much joy out of that I actually like to do too. Is so fun for me. It's fun for me to watch them enjoy something, which everything about kids, parallels with God. I really think God created a family so that we can get a better view of the way that he sees us. So I love to think about kids as me with God. So when I think about, God probably loves to watch me do things that I love. He probably loves to watch me enjoy his creation. He probably loves to watch me go to the ocean because I love it. And he made it. And like, how cool is that for him that I enjoy it so much and he made that gift for us, you know? So anything that revolves around kids, I feel like if once you have kids of your own, you get a glimpse into the way that God feels about you, and it's really cool. Is there such thing as a sex life post babies? The answer to that is yes, guys. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It takes time. It takes a lot of time to heal from having a baby in all the ways, physically and emotionally. And then when you're breastfeeding, you're feeling so needed, or even if you're not breastfeeding, you just feel like you're pouring everything out into this baby that you have nothing left to give your husband. But if the timeline for me, I say, when I hit that 3-month mark, our baby's been about 3 months old, they were sleeping through the night, I was getting rest, I got in a rhythm, I felt healed. Like, that was the timing for me that I felt ready again. And it's probably different for everybody, but that was my timing. And everyone's different. If you were to have a girl as of right now, what would you name her? And the name that we actually did really like that we kind of recently dropped was Isla, because our last name is Eisenman. Isla, Eisenman, I think it's pretty. But then we just started hearing it. It's like a real phenomenon that as soon as you pick a name for your kid, you start hearing it everywhere. And I just don't like that. I like to have more unique names, and I thought that was really unique. I'd never heard it before, and then as soon as I decided I liked it, I hear it everywhere. So that was the name, but I guess we're going to throw it out the window for now. When will you stop undressing in front of your kids? Which, that's kind of funny because I feel like most people don't think about that. But I was doing it while I was pregnant with Jamin because it would just work out easier to like shower with them and bathe them in there than me like having to bend down at the bathtub and bathe them when I'm pregnant. Like if Nathaniel was filming a wedding and he wasn't home. But other than that, he was usually doing it. But I felt like when I was pregnant, like my body wasn't mine or something. I just felt so different. And then as soon as I had Jamin, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to undress in front of them anymore. I can't shower with them anymore. And Oakland was only 3. Like he had just turned 3, I think. So they were still really little. But for me, I don't know. It was just funny. And I know that people do this for a long time. But I feel like the time to stop is when they start looking at you different. You know, this is so funny to talk about. But like one time Oakland asked me, where's your, like he doesn't even know what to call that, but he was like, where's your this? And he like pointed at his and is like looking at me, and I'm like, girls don't have that. And then I came out of the bathroom to Nathaniel, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. So yeah, they were little, but we've already stopped doing that. But yeah, that's another thing that's just kind of different for everyone. I guess it's just what you're comfortable with. All right, so this was already longer than I thought it was going to be. We'll just stop there, but I hate I couldn't get to more questions. I was trying to keep it quick so I could get to as many as I could, but there were so many good ones. Anyways, that was it for today. And I was thinking about the outro because I got to say it. But I'm like, it sounds funny just saying, that was Sutton sowing seeds. So like, help me. Do I say, it's still my Nathaniel's channel. Can I still say, that was Nate and Sutton sowing seeds of truth, love, and inspiration? Or should I just say, that was Sutton? And why do I always forget if it was that was or this is? I don't know which one sounds better, but what do you guys think? I'll do the outro next time once you tell me how it should be said. Have a good day.